Hello, this is the price action for yesterday, the EURUSD 3-minute chart. We had a broad bear channel. Let's go up to the 15-minute chart to see how this formed. So, of course, a couple of days ago, we had that FOMC sell-off. And then we've been in this trading range and we've had those three presses and people started to buy back and take their profits. And just been in this range, really. And coming into yesterday, we were sort of channeling down and we sort of had a break of this channel. If I put this top channel line on there, and then we had a break and a retest of the low, and we've done an overshoot there, but we've also overshooted this micro channel line, and I like to draw my ranges in there. So it will usually give you the range, the high and the low of the range. You just take from the overshoot area down to the low. And then we ended up, so we're thinking we're maybe in this little bit of a trading range, but we start channeling up here, and then we have a break of this channel, and then we retest the high, and then we just get this reversal, but it's got this huge gap, and it's just untradeable, and then it just sort of rattles the market, and we end up in this trading range here for pretty much the whole night. On this 15-minute, it's not that bearish, it's sort of just sort of a flat range, but it is slightly making lower highs. So yeah, and then we just shoot on out of there in the US session, but we stay in this range, so basically just range the last couple of days. And then we'll go look at the trade, so we'll go down to the 3-minute. So of course you're starting the night out, you get this really nice trade at the start of the night, but you've got to be weary of the highs here. So you are doing a break and a retest of that channel high, which you can see from your 15-minute. So you want to be exiting. There is another channel that's formed here, so going to there is the max you're going to get, but you're probably more wanting to exit at that line there. Anyway, so it starts off the night, so we sort of break out of this range here, and we can't go long here because we're into this micro channel, so we can just delete that off because it does become a bigger channel. But as you can see, we're overshooting there, so you can't go long there. You're expecting a trading range. So the second that overshoots, you're just drawing in your range, so you're just pulling this up and going to the high, first high, and that's your range. And then you're playing this little range, because that's the name of the game, how I trade, or how a lot of traders trade. And we're just looking for some bullish momentum to get in on. We can't go there because we're right into the channel line, and it sort of pulls back. This bar, it's not really closing on its high, and we don't want to go long there. This bar is closing on its high, but the entry bar is terrible. So you're really looking for a signal bar, a good signal bar, and good entry bar. So this one's a better signal bar. You don't know how wide this is as well, so you don't have any guess of how wide you're going to have to draw this channel as well. You just got to wait for a good setup. And we're at the EMA, we've had that tick back there, and we've got a bullish bar. And now when this bar breaks above all those other bars, so you're waiting, that's your signal bar, and you're waiting for your entry bar to break the highs here. And once it breaks the highs, this could take a minute to do this. You're waiting there for a minute, just watching this bar, it breaks the highs. Once it breaks the highs and it looks quite strong, you can start to think, oh, this looks like a good entry. We've had 2 attempts, failed twice to go down, so it's a failed sort of second entry short as well. We're at the EMA. This might be the edge of a bigger channel. We're probably going to get a second leg up, and you can enter on there. So you drop your limit order in, even though this bar is a little bit further past it, and then it will just come back and tick you in, and you get into that trade. And it just heads on up. So we're really waiting for a good signal bar, and we're waiting for a bit of the entry bar to form before we enter our trades usually, unless it's a trade that has got a very high percentage, and then the signal bar can be just good enough, and you can just enter, and you can just on or stop, and it can just put you in there. But for most cases, limit order, if you can get used to doing it, is a better way to see the entry bar form and get some confirmation of that entry bar even, and then add your limit order on. It's just a better way to trade, that I've found anyway. Anyway, so we end up, this bar, I called it teleporting last night. Like, look how big that is. That's 50 pips. That's all really one bar, even though it's got that huge gap, but that's all one bar there. and then this gap's up here, and then we have this other bar here. So they're just disappearing. The bar is meant to start just there. It's starting down here, so it's just not possible to trade. And then this bar is meant to start here, and it just starts somewhere up here. And it's just too hard to trade. So we're in this range now, big up, big down, and this little range forms here. And you're just sort of following that for the night, I guess, and then you get this channeling up, like a channel pullback, which we like, and we like that third press, and we like it to overshoot, and we like that bearish bar right on that third press of a channel pullback, and then we can go short there because we're in a downtrend as well. So we can take that short to the lows, and it just continues down, then it overshoots itself. So when it overshoots, you're drawing another range in there. You just see it overshoot that micro channel line, you're just pulling it down to the low, and then you'll see that when it goes back to that area, it rejects again. So you're in a range. It tells you the range before the range is even there, and then you just you're looking at that. It's tried to go down once, it's tried to go down a second time, and it's failed to go down. Anyone going short there, you would feel very uncomfortable at this bar, and that's where we're entering. So we're entering when people are exiting. So it's tried to go down those 2 times, and it's also a second attempt up on a trading range, and that's always better. So we can scalp out there, and then we start channeling up on this micro channel, and we do that same pattern again. So it's like 3 presses of failure, and then we can trade that down to the lows there. And then we're stuck in this little range, and maybe there's a trade here. It's quite hard to enter on that one because we're right at the bottom of the range. Yeah, it's right at the midline. So it does channel up, it does fail. And then when maybe you can get in on the pullback and get that last tiny scalp there. But that was it. It was a much tougher night last night because of I think it's a delayed reaction to the FOMC stuff. Because that doesn't always happen in the London session where you get that, this sort of stuff happening. And it would be very disappointing if you were trading for the first time last night and you had a stop on and you had your stop down here or something, and you're expecting this to go up and this happened. You would just think everything is rigged and everything is a mess. But really, it's just the markets, how they work. So, people saying, oh, these trades happen, always, the setups are always here, but the setups happen all at the same time. The setups are happening every 15, 20 minutes on here. So it's not some magical setup. The banks, yeah, they're going to trade at certain times, and if you know the times that the sessions are going to start and end, of course there's going to be more things happening at those times. That's where the banks start trading. But the setups form all the time. And sometimes at the start of the night, there is no setup. You got to wait for that setup. So there's no magic to it. It's just watch the price action. Whatever the price action says is what the banks and everyone is going to do. There's no all the banks are coming together and all the hedge funds and all that are coming together to do some magical setup for the night. They're not. They're just battling it out. And that's just how all this works. Anyway, talk to someone in finance who actually knows how the markets work, not anyone else on the internet saying that it's ran by lizard people or something like that. Just talk to real people who spend time learning all this stuff. I don't know it. I don't know much macro stuff at all. It's virtually zero. I don't understand any of that. I just look at the bars and trade what's in front of me. But if you talk to someone who does, they're not going to say it's some conspiracy that this happened or they're doing this to take all your stops or anything like that. Yeah, people are taking people's stops, so we can see that. That's what I'm doing too. I'm entering when everyone's exiting. I'm doing the same thing, and I'm just some guy, some idiot from trading. Some just regular dude. So yeah, it's not a magical thing at all. That's it.